Councilmember Pollard from District J, and Councilmember Cisneros was here but had to leave. And then I'll introduce everyone in a few minutes. Of course, Marvin Odom, who is the Chief COVID Recovery Officer for the City of Houston. Chief Kennedy is also present. The Fire Department Chief is also present. Today reports 141 new cases of COVID-19. That's 141, bringing the total case count in the City of Houston to 6,188. Let me underscore that as we do more testing, and we are doing more testing, I'm not surprised with the numbers continuing to rise. That will be a part of it. The total number of deaths in the City of Houston has increased now to 123. That is four new cases that we are reporting today. With regards to these four new death cases, it is a white male in his 90s with underlying health away on April the 12th. A white male in his 70s with underlying health conditions who passed away on May the 13th, and then a white male in his 70s with underlying health conditions who passed away on May 18th. Each positive coronavirus case and each death in our community represents someone's loved one, a husband, a wife, a father, a brother, or a sister. And that is why it is important that we do not forget that we are still in a public health crisis. The pandemic has not ended, and the threat to our hearts, to our health and safety is not over just because more businesses are reopening. In fact, this is the time we need to double down and to do more to stop the virus from spreading. Every day, when I come before you right around this time, I give you the numbers. 141 today, 4 new people who have died as a result of COVID-19. And in many ways, when you do that, it can be almost sterile, just a number without a face, without a person, without a name. But these are persons and these are families that are being impacted in many cases for the rest of their lives. I want to talk about a particular person today, and I've asked his family to come and join with us. On February 18, 2020, the Houston Firefighters Relief and Retirement Fund held a celebration to recognize Tony Pierce, 20 years of service. 2 months later, literally 2 months later, Tony passed away as a result of COVID-19. And that is how quickly life can change if you get sick with this virus. Tony was not just any person. For several of us in this room today, we knew Tony. Tony was president and head of Alpha Eta Lambda, Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, which is my grad chapter in the fraternity for which I'm a part. And there are several employees of the City of Houston that is a part of this fraternity and part of this particular chapter. Tony is no longer with us. In fact, on Sunday, there was a special virtual memorial tribute that was being paid to Tony, and I had the opportunity to present to him a proclamation honoring Tony for the life that he led. Gail, his wife, is here today, along with his daughter, Nia. They were a part of that virtual memorial celebration on Sunday. Gail said some things during that memorial that really brought things home. And no matter how many times I stand before this podium and talk about the importance of face coverings and masks and social distancing, sometimes you hear so much from me. It's just another message coming from the Mayor of the City of Houston, and you would expect for him to say it. I've asked Gail and Nia to be here today to speak briefly about Tony and the importance of us taking special attention, of paying special attention and doing things that did not save Tony, but possibly can save so many, many, many others. And so I want to thank Gail and Nia in advance for them being willing to come and stand and be a part of this press conference. Gail, let me call you.
I'm coming to you as a wife, a mother, a concerned citizen, and someone whose heart has been severely broken. COVID-19 has impacted the lives of my daughter and I deeply. Who knew that when I took my husband to the ER on March the 28th, that would be the last time that I would speak to him face to face. Thank God that I was able to tell him that I loved him, and that was it. Because as you know, families are not allowed in the hospitals. And so my only communication on a daily basis was with the doctors and the nurses at the hospital. And with that, I kept an extensive journal, outlining day to day, hour to hour on his recovery. He fought for his life for 25 days, sedated, intubated, and ventilated, on a ventilator. COVID, which is the infection that took over and contributed to the pneumonia and the respiratory issues that he was facing. COVID-19 is real. Contrary to what we're hearing on television, it's here to stay, with or without a vaccine. It's just like the flu virus. It's gonna come back year after year, maybe different strands or whatever, but it is for real. It makes me mad every time I go to the store and I see dozens and dozens of people walking around unmasked. I mean, it's just like, we're opening up the businesses, we're opening up the state, and oh wow, this is over. We now can go to the beach, thousands of us, and just sit on top of each other. I understand that we need to support our businesses. I understand that people need to work. But why can you not wear a mask and protect yourself and others while you're doing this? I'm not getting it. I don't understand. My husband left behind family. He left behind his fraternity brothers. He left behind his co-workers. He left behind rodeo committee members, just hundreds of people that knew him. And to me, it's just unfair. We're struggling. We're really, really struggling. I now have to take on a dual parent role. I now have to take on responsibilities at home that I never had to do before. I'm thinking in the future, when our daughter gets married, her dad's not gonna be here to walk her down the aisle, okay? He's not gonna be here for his grandchildren, which he had already named himself Poppy. And is this really what you want your family to have to go through? This is not what we wanted. He and I had retirement plans. We had things that we were gonna do. And so now that's over. I'm gonna try to push on by myself. Stop being macho, stop trying to be cute, put the mask on. You can get masks too that match your outfits. But the bottom line is you need to mask up. I know it's getting hot, but there is a mask out there that will get you through the summer. So please, I beg you, I don't want anybody else to have to go through this struggle. This is not fun at all. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks, and Nia, let me thank you. Tony was our alpha brother, and there are a number of alphas that are in this room. And I think, like we said, Tony is not here, but your words and what you said can benefit so many, many others. And so let me ask you all, please mask up. And if not for yourself, for your family members, for your friends, for others, let's recognize that there are some things that we can do to protect one another. So thank you so very much. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you, Nina. Monday, May the 25th is Memorial Day. And every year we remember and honor the men and women who have sacrificed for our country. And this year, some activities have been canceled because of COVID-19 pandemic. But like every Memorial Day weekend, we are bracing for crowds at our parks and public places. As you commemorate Memorial Day, I want to remind you to do your part to save lives, maintain social distancing. That means continuing to stand at least 6 feet apart when in public, wear a mask or face covering, and wash your hands. Stay home if you are sick or in the vulnerable populations with underlying chronic health conditions, or when you're around people over 65 years or older with underlying medical conditions. Today, in recognition of Memorial Day, I have invited Kelly Irving, the chief nurse at Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center. The VA nurses are on the front lines of the battle against the virus, and they are heroes working to save heroes in our hospitals. And let me invite Kelly Irving, the chief nurse at Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center. Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor Turner, for the invitation here today for your press conference. As you stated, I am the chief nurse at Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center, located in the heart of the Texas Medical Center. As we celebrate this month, was Nurses Month, and at the beginning of the year was titled the Year of the Nurse. And what I will say to you as a nurse for a very, very, very long time, that my condolences go to you and to your family. We know what it's like. We have lost many. We lost one of our very own nurses at the organization. And although as a nurse we know it's real, it was extremely real to know that someone was at work one day and then in a couple of weeks they were no longer there. And by all means, it was a registered nurse. This is what we take our vow for, to care for others. But with this pandemic, I will say to you, it's like none other. Please be safe. As we honor our veterans this weekend, over the long weekend, please know that celebrations should not be as they were in the past. We really need you to physically distance yourself. We say 6 feet, but if you can do more, I encourage you to do more. We encourage you to wash your hands. Please wash your hands. That is one of the proven best defenses. If you don't have sanitizer, soap and water with a little vigorous rubbing will do for about 30 seconds. Clean all of your frequently touched surfaces and be mindful of your surroundings. At your gas stations, those areas where we know multiple people will touch pumps. And don't think that everyone is doing what you're doing. Go on and go the extra mile. Clean your vehicles, wipe your areas, social distance. And what do we mean by social distance? Staying away, but keeping in contact with people. We know that our veterans, many of them suffer with post-traumatic stress